Hi everyone, I'm your coach Todd Hughley, and today I want to talk about my approach. It's interesting how I've talked about what other coaches have taught me, what I've learned from them, and now I've been getting a bunch of questions saying, hey, we want to learn what you believe in, what you coach, what's your philosophy. So before we get into that, please hit the subscribe button, like the videos, comment below, and share. Now let's get started. So when it comes to the golf swing, I believe in very simple coaching that everybody can do. It doesn't matter if you're starting out at 6, 7, or 8, or you're 95, men, women, it helps everybody. And my concepts are very simple. They're very effective and very efficient. The arms and the body blend out. I do believe the arms are the dominant factor. That's just from my experience and from my years of coaching. People can disagree with that. They can think it's the core. That's fine. There's a lot of ways to get this done. Um, I'm a huge believer in the club whipping past you, and that is basically the handle reversing directions, or the thumbs doing this in the release. And I want that club whipping past the body as the body's moving. I want to try to sequence up everything as much as possible, and that is going to make a very solid, effective, efficient golf swing. But also, golfers need to be very soft in their arms, their shoulders, their chest. They must be relaxed, tension free. And I like to think of fast, and I like to think of the club head moving fast. And when I start talking about powerful, people really start to try to, you know, use the big muscles. And it's interesting. Anytime I've ever seen coaches or players at high levels talking about adding speed to the swing, it's instantly wrists and arms. It's never that they rotate faster. And I still see that taught. And again, that's an approach. Do I think that's the most efficient way to do it? No. And I talked about before that coaches, we are teaching highly educated opinions for the most part. Some of us, I don't know, but for most people that I associate with, they're very well educated, they're intelligent, they know what they're talking about, and everything is backed by science. And then we have the technology to prove it. So that's a very cool thing about our era. Now, when I talk about the golf swing with students and members of the website, I talk about in the takeaway keeping the club under the shoulders or the head, if you will, and then getting life in the club shaft, which is getting the wrists involved, hinging up and down. Okay. And once they get to the L, that's kind of the foundation for me. If a golfer can learn L, and then the hands come down to about this area, and then the club whips past, and they can get over here to this L and strike the golf ball well, that golfer to me has a very good future. And if they struggle with that, I think that player is going to struggle for the time they play, just because that really is the foundation. And once, you build this framework of here, and then you kind of are sitting down, the club's coming down correctly, club works out in front of you, runs into the golf ball, and then whips past you over here, and your body can come up. That is what we're looking for. And that's one of the big things that a lot of, I don't want to say coaches per se, but people don't talk about, is that the handle is reversing directions when the best players in the world are hitting the golf ball. Okay. They're not dragging and holding on unless they're trying to hit a big, huge slice that goes off the planet or a massive cut. They are moving this handle that direction. So this is happening regardless of what you might see in a still picture or even with videos on YouTube. What's going on is this, okay? Johnny Miller talked about this. I've heard other players talk about this. Rory, Tiger, Scheffler. I mean, you know, talk about some pretty accomplished players. DeChambeau's even talked about this, about what the handle is doing. It's reversing directions. And the only way golfers really get in trouble is if they try to flip the club face shut when they're doing that. But most golfers get in trouble from the top where they start to do this. You know, we talk about this particular motion, throwing that club way out. And that generally starts here and then goes out. Everything is cause and effect in the golf swing. 100%. If your grip is bad and it does something to the club face, that's going to subconsciously make your body do something that you may or may not want to have happen, especially if the club face is open or if it's closed. It's going to have a huge effect, and you're basically going to be fighting it the entire time you're making a golf swing. But if your foundation and fundamentals are good, okay, and there's a gray area of where this club can be in this area, but I definitely like the hands just off the trail leg, and I like the club to start to get life in it as the body turns. Now, turn, that is what we are capable of. Each one of us is different with our athletic personality and what we can and can't do. Again, a 8, 10, 11, 12-year-old, even a teenager, I mean, they can pretty much spin all the way around. Once we get into our 40s and 50s, our rotational factor is limited a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just have to adjust and play who we are. And with me, when you make a backswing and you keep what I call your back to the target and you start to bring your hands down, now is when we start to push on the back of the club shaft, okay, and let that lead arm rotate. But at the same time, our body is moving in relationship to that, going whew, past us, okay? So it really is sequenced up, and that is what's going to give you that little bit of shaftling. I had to laugh at a comment the other day when someone was saying, don't overdo the look cool drill. And I'm thinking, what I'm teaching here is someone how to swing the club head. And yes, if you were just to stand here and do this, that's not what we want. But if you were to add body to that, now we're starting to get a little bit of shaft lean, not a ton. And we're going to probably be neutral. And I have students that actually go out and do that drill all the time, and their impact conditions are very good. And everybody has their opinions on the golf swings, and some of them are condescending, some of them are very genuine. But for the most part, anything that helps a player hit the golf ball better, have more fun, easy on their body, gain a little distance, and enjoy the game is something that I am a fan of. And my coaching, again, revolves around getting the club to go from this side of your body, whip it over here as fast as you can to this side of your body. And it's been developed from being around some incredible coaching minds. Malaska, Haney, Hardy. There's some gentlemen in Houston, Matt Swanson, Joel Gann, Richard Hines, Mike Abraham, just incredible minds that taught me so much. And we'll maybe never hear of them, but they're just incredible coaches and instructors. They know so much. And when it comes to the laying down and the hardcore rotation and shallowing the shaft, that's something that, you know, I'm not a big fan of, because it does lead to dragging the handle and then this last minute really quick trying to turn the club face down and hold on to the angle way out here. And you know, I have friends that teach it, and maybe I'm misunderstanding what they're coaching, but I see students that come to the lesson tee that are trying to accomplish that, and they've been injured and they have major problems with their swings. And unfortunately, that concept just seems very difficult to me. However, it is a way to play again, and I don't want to knock it. It just seems more difficult than it has to be. So if you really want to, you know, learn how I teach, I mean, on my website, you're going to learn incredible foundations. You're going to learn a golf swing that's going to last you a lifetime. And it's based around, again, whipping this club head past you as fast as possible as your body keeps up, okay? And you're going to be able to hit draws, you're going to hit straight shots, you're going to be able to hit fades. It's going to be easy on your body. You're going to have speed, and you're going to swing soft. And a great way to start is just practicing little pitch shots, just little, I mean, even little chips where you go here, okay, where you go here, and the handle just basically goes from here to here. To me, that is a great way to chip. So there, okay, that's a great way to chip in my book, and I've had a lot of success with students doing that and myself. And they can hit bump and runs, they can hit high shots, they can hit spinning shots. It doesn't matter, they have those shots in their bag. Then when it gets to pitching, then we are going to just lengthen it out a little bit more, just there, and we're going to let our body kind of follow through, chase after. But again, that club head is whipping past. So the thumbs are coming down and doing this. And you can rotate your arms extremely fast, okay? And this is the entire arms. Now, when you are feeling, and I talked about that float drill, you never have to worry about getting down to the golf ball. Gravity's pulling on that club head. And the tip of hit down on the ball, not a big fan of, because that gets golfers so steep and they're trying to hit down on it, as opposed to letting their natural low point show up, okay? Well, then once a golfer learns to pitch, hit some shots like that, now we can lengthen it out a little bit and start to hit some mid-length shots. And that's going to be either just under L or right around the L position. So there. And there really is a ton of speed there. And golfers do play to scratch if they're playing from certain tees at certain ages, and single digit handicaps with that approach, because they're not dragging the handle. This club is whipping through there with a lot of speed. And no, it's not going to go left, okay? You could actually stand here with your body dead still and hit just draws doing this, or cuts doing this, as long as you're not doing that right there. And if someone, you know, has a miss hit off a toe with the driver, gear effect takes over, and that golf ball is going to hook maybe a little bit, even if you have slice numbers or whatever, or perfect draw. If you hit it off the heel and you have perfect draw numbers, that golf ball is going to fade or slice. So gear effect, especially with the driver, is a big deal. Then you basically just build from that mid swing, which I really like to play at that level. That just feels so comfortable to me, and I hit a lot of good shots with that feeling. And I can get longer where my hands get over my trail shoulder there. That's kind of where I want golfers to be. And I've built a lot of really good players with that. I mean, I really do have a lot of scratch and single digit players running around, and some incredible juniors. And it's based off of basically this handle coming down and reversing directions. Pretty much this right here. That's the thought, where it goes here, just right there. But your body is keeping up with that to make it look, quote unquote, normal. Okay. Now, when it comes to how the body moves, this is very interesting. Basically, the trail hip, you just push back and kind of sit in. And I've talked about this before. And then the hands come down, then we just fire that club head through there. And as you do that, you kind of sit into the ground, and then that lead hip pushes backwards, okay? This is a little more complicated stuff. And once you have what I call the top half figured out, okay, then we start figuring out how to add more speed and use the ground forces. And we're coming in, we're sitting down, and we're really pushing away from that club as that club whips past you. And yes, it's going to add a little bit more speed. And you probably have to be a pretty experienced or advanced player to do that, because so many golfers still struggle with just the top half and getting the arms and the club face control and swinging efficiently. And when I talk about the downswing again, getting your hands and arms under your shoulders while your back still feels like it stays to the target, and then wham, everything goes together, but this club is whipping past. If you can't do that, or the L to L, we're not ready to talk about pushing into the ground, responding and standing up, or snapping that lead knee. Those things come down the road, and we can talk about them, but if you're not ready to tackle that, it's going to be a huge roadblock, and it might derail your game. So I recommend you start with just little short shots, just stuff like this. Lengthen it out. Okay. Let your body follow through. And again, lengthen that out. Let your body follow through, and vary the speeds at which you push on the back of the shaft. It's not down. It's not down. Okay. You're coming in. Your hands and everything, yes, they're going to fall here, but now you're feeling you're just delivering the club head to the golf ball. Boop. That's your thought. This is actually a great little drill right here, believe it or not, to work on. Just here, boop. Get the feel of coming from inside and get the club head to swing past you as you're kind of pushing into the ground. Little simple drill like that, and no one would ever think to do that. And I've seen some top level players standing next to them on the range at a tournament doing that, and I'm going, oh, that's brilliant. And they're working on coming into impact. So basically my approach blends the arms and body together with this club head moving extremely fast. The handle reverses directions. A great way to actually practice this again is just to go here where the handle's here, there, where you just kind of feel it, and then a little longer. You get a little longer, so you know the handle is reversing, but you're not doing this, okay? You're coming from the inside. Hopefully we're hitting a straight-ish shot. That's what I tell golfers. We want to be straight-ish. We might have a little draw. We might be straight. We might hit a little fade. And a lot of times the shot of the day shows up. So I hope this video helps kind of clear up what I coach, what I believe in, what you're going to learn. You're going to improve dramatically. The website is, again, going under some changes. It's always, evolving and improving, because I want it to be the best for you, and I'm real excited about it. Now, if you have any questions on this, and I hope you do, please let me know.